What's going on, guys? Hostile Frog here. We're back into it. Episode 1, we ended up getting Vorkaf as our challenge boss, and then for the challenge itself for Vorkaf, we ended up getting 150 KC as our challenge. It went pretty well. As you could see, we ended up getting around 26.4 mil from Vorkaf, and it took us about 2 days, give or take, of killing them. Now, granted, I'm not just straight killing them as fast, so it for other bosses, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. But, anyways, we're on to episode 2. We have the wheel. We're ready to spin that wheel. What exactly are we going to get? Let's find out. Before I spin this, I do want to say that I did remove Obar and that Byro person, the Moss Giant free-to-play boss. The main reason is there's a problem with those bosses where really nothing counts towards your KC until you get the key and then you open the chest. That's the only time it counts. So I don't want it to be something where it's key based in order for it to count, because then it turns into a whole different situation. So I just removed those two. I think that honestly just makes it a little bit more challenging overall for the bosses. But here we go. Episode 2, Wheel of Bosses. Spin that wheel. And we are fighting Scorpia. Ooh. Alright. We're going into the wilderness. That's gonna be fun. Probably not. Anyways. Let's see here. Scorpia. Let's see. Scorpia's got the 2 shards. We got the Odium and the Malediction shards. Those are really the big ticket items for him. You also have the Dragon 2-hand. Collection log wise, if you were to go to Scorpia, it looks like it's just you get the pet, the 2 shards, and then the Dragon 2H. So I think Scorpia, we can kind of make it so to maybe 100 for the shards, and then maybe 100 for the shards if we land on those, and then we'll go 75 for the Dragon 2-hand, and then the rest will be 50 KCs with maybe another 100 in there. Because it's deep wild, it's going to be a lot more challenging to do because I'm most likely going to get PK'd. I will try to keep track of how many times I do get PK'd and how much money I end up losing. I don't know if there's like an actual way to show how much money is lost. I do have this supply tracker plugin that will be able to keep track of what supplies I use. But other than that, I don't know, like, if I were to lose um, Revenant Essence, what exactly that looks like. But Scorpia is our boss. Now, we do need to find out what our challenge is. So let me make the wheel for Scorpia right now. All right. I did have to switch over to a different wheel because it wouldn't let me get into the advanced option with that wheel that we had. However, here we are. I kind of threw in some stuff. We got the 35 KC, 25, 25. We got 50 KC, the Malediction, and the Odium, which is going to be 100 KC if we were to land on it, or getting the shard. We got this big one with the 150. That's going to be one we probably are not going to want to land on. We got another 150 or 100 there. We got 50, and then the Dragon 2-handed sword. The Dragon Duran Sword will be 75 KC. But we have our boss of Scorpia. But what is our challenge going to be? Let's shuffle this a few times, click it a spam click, and now here we are. It looks like we're not going to want to be somewhere in this section of the wheel. We're going to be wanting to be here. But here we go. Scorpia, what is our challenge? Here we go. And, all right, we are getting relatively an easier one. It's still Scorpia, it's still Deep Wild in multi, but here we are. It's gonna be kind of giving us a grain of salt with this one. 25 KC. Maybe if I'm feeling spicy, I'll make it a little bit more as I go, depending on how it goes. If it's going well, I'll keep going. Maybe I'll throw it up to 50. But otherwise, we have our challenge, Scorpia, and we have this challenge for Scorpia, and that's 25 kills. Here we are. Let's get into it. All right. We have kind of geared ourselves for Scorpia in the wilderness here. We took a look at the Scorpia strategy. This is the kind of gear that it kind of recommended. Obviously, the best weapon to use in the wilderness is the wilderness weapons that they have. So in this case, it would be the Accursed Scepter. However, since this is a high PK spot, I'm most likely going to get killed a few times. So I want to try to make it so I'm spending not as much money to keep going back over the money that is coming in. So I chose the Eye of Aok as my choice of weapon because if I die to a player, I believe I do not lose charges in the said staff. So that should be the same for the Trident and the Saying Staff. So I ended up going with the Eye here. And for the other two items that I will use as my sort of like 3 items as my good items, I'm going to be using the Confliction Gauntlets because that will help with the little passive that it has with the plus 10 attack bonus that they gain from the bracelet, but also the plus 2% magic damage bonus that it has with the passive effect of using a one-handed weapon. And then I also have my imbued God Cape. So, if we kind of go back, we got the imbued God Cape, we got the Eye, and the Confliction Gauntlets that you could see there. My other 3 items are just going to be a simple Zami monk robe top and bottom and an Amulet of Glory. Now, I could go with the monk robe top and bottom. I don't really know if there's a difference, maybe prayer difference, but if I get into the blood work or the blood bark here, which, I mean, blood bark shouldn't be too expensive, but that's still a couple 100K, I'm sure. Yeah, like it's still risking 300 plus K every single time. People in the wilderness, they're gonna be drooling at the like any chance of getting a good amount of money. So, also the problem. I don't really like doing wilderness bosses, but for the sake of the boss counts, I do have to throw them in there as a little thing just to challenge myself. But Scorpia is all the way in the deep, deep wild. You got Chaos Alley right here, and then you got Scorpia here. So, you got your wilderness lever here that will pull in Edgeville. We'll get here, we'll slash the web, we'll go in here, we'll kill Scorpia. How this will go, I don't know. Like I said, if I end up doing the 25 kills and I feel, you know what, I can do more, I will do more. But if I feel like I'm like, you know what, I'm good with the 25, I'm gonna move on. We're gonna get to episode 3. We'll see how that goes. I will keep you guys posted with any kills. In terms of supplies, if it tracks like deaths like that, I don't know. Otherwise, I will try to keep an idea on how much money I end up losing overall with each death, because it will pop up in the clan. Um, but also at the end, I will show the loot tracker of the Scorpia of 25 or 35 if I end up throwing an extra 10 in there, and we will see the final results. Let's get into it. All right, here we are at Scorpia. Scorpia is one of those bosses, like we mentioned, that is in Deep Wild, as we are at 53 Wilderness. And it's also the risk factor of it being multi. So if a clan were to roll up, I'm most likely getting folded. But Scorpia is a pretty simple boss. As you could see, you kind of fry through its health pretty easily. But then you do have to pay attention to when he gets to about half health, as you need to freeze these little guardians he's got here, and then lure him far enough away so that the guardians cannot reach him, because they will heal Scorpio to full, and you're most likely not going to be able to out damage the heals. So this one, for example, is being a little bit of a nuisance. I didn't lure Scorpia far enough away. The other one despawned. But you sometimes just need to kill those little guys and then just refreeze Scorpia, because you're going to need to pray melee if he were to be in range. But all these little minions are constantly attacking you. So that's why you need to be praying for missiles. So I'll show you another kill. I'll show you from the beginning. It's a really simple boss. You'll first get your ice sacks that you can buy in the Grand Exchange. You'll freeze Scorpia, and then you'll just simply attack him. The health, it doesn't have a lot, only 200, and right about half, so he should spawn him right now. There's those little guardians that he spawned in. They're being a little bit annoying with how they're like walking around him, but you'll try to freeze them. Got some stuff in my way. Okay, nice. I got a freeze there on those guys right there, so I'm gonna kind of run away and refreeze them here, and voila. Now we just kill Scorpia. That's gonna be kill number 18. I probably will just do the 25. I'm not really a big fan of wilderness bosses. I understand if you guys want to see more. I'll up the ante the next time I run into it. But just for the time being, I'm going to just get the 25 and move on to the next wheel. And we will see what that wheel will be in the next video. But for now, I will continue killing them. And right when I'm finished, I will show you the 25 kills, as well as any supplies used, etc. So, I'll see you soon. 25 kills of Scorpia is complete. Was a really simple one. Not going to be as long, but it is what it is. Not every video is going to be long. Not every challenge is going to be long. This one was a relatively simple one to complete. It's just the high risk factor of, well, Deep Wild. But we have completed it. We are officially safe in the save zone. And here we are. Let me just enter my PIN. All right, here we are. So, when it comes to the loot, we ended up getting 775k, almost 776k in total loot. We got that dragon two-handed sword pretty easily with only the second KC. So that, I thought that was a pretty crazy, and I did chuckle a little about that one. Otherwise, just some simple Onyx Bolt tips, Runite Ore, Death Runes, Mystic Staff, etc. As for the supplies used, let's see how well it tracked it. So we got the supplies used at least for food and potions. However, it doesn't show the charges that I use with the eye. Um, I didn't really need to use a lot of charges. The kills went by pretty quick, as you were able to see in the kills that I showed. However, potions wise, that was about 14k, food about 15, and then the runes for the ice sacks there were about 21k. So the total supplies costed around 52k, and then maybe throw, just to be on the safe side, I'm probably way overestimating how much demon tears are. But I mean, let's just give it a check here. Those are about 291. So let's just say, for the sake of it, just to give you guys an idea, let's throw another 25k. So about 75 to 80k was our total supplies cost. But then in return, we ended up getting 775k. So it's about 700k profit. That took me, I don't even know if that took me an hour, to be quite honest. But that's not the point. The point is these little challenges that we are going to do. And with that, we can rebank our stuff. We can grab our max cape here. We can teleport on out of this wilderness. We'll head over here. I do need to upgrade my house, but we'll teleport here. I guess I could have gone over there. Grand Exchange. Where did it go? Ring of Wealth. There it is. Grand Exchange. Here we are. We had our player indicators on. Didn't have names above heads, so that probably would not have helped. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for watching. I will start the Wheel of Bossing episode 3 right after this. How long that will take me, I'm not sure. It really depends on what we land on. So maybe I'll try to make a schedule on when things are released so it's not a big gap. So for example, if I released episode 1 yesterday on a Saturday, that I would release episode 2 on a Saturday as well. But just for the sake of this being a quick boss, I will release this video today as of when I record this, and we will get on to episode 3. I appreciate you guys once again for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit too. It's helping me get into bossing without feeling like I'm doing it for no reason. And we're 2 episodes down and a bunch to go. All right, have a good one, guys.